All right, so this is part 3 of the symptoms for You're Not Crazy. Um, Seems like as I'm going through, I'm always forgetting something that's part of Chiari. But I got my list here, so just want to go over a few things. For me, for example, like when I'm in the car, if it gets too warm, I start feeling really dizzy. I at that point have to either let the windows down or turn my AC on just to get my body to get back in balance so that I can drive good. It's kind of weird, but I even remember this one time I was working and I'm like, is it just me? And I know here in Texas it's super hot, but this one time, just me walking from my car to the local grocery store, from the parking lot to the entrance, I felt so fatigued and out of breath and almost like this feeling of, hotness, I guess. It was hot that day, but anyway, a dizziness that kind of comes over me when I get too warm. Now, I'd prefer to be hot than cold, but for some reason, if I get too warm, I feel like I can't really breathe, almost as if I'm suffocating. There we go. So, walking to the store or in my car, I feel like once it gets warm, I feel like I literally can't breathe. I feel like I'm suffocating. Then I have to remind myself, open your mouth up and breathe. Like you don't have to just breathe through your nose. Open up your mouth and breathe. But then once I turn the AC on in the car and I allow it to blow in my face, then I feel much better. It's kind of weird, but if it's happening to you, you're not crazy. Another thing, having stroke-like symptoms, because I know around the time I was diagnosed and I went to the urgent care, I felt like I was having stroke-like symptoms, like, the left side of my arm being heavy. And literally, I never wanted to say it, but that's why I went to the urgent care. I was like, oh no. I didn't want to say that word, but that's what I thought it was. So that was ruled out. And then, like I say, the MRI showed that, it was Chiari. But if you feel like you're having stroke-like symptoms, definitely go to the emergency room just to get that checked out. But another thing, feeling dizzy also, say like if I'm in the kitchen cleaning, sometimes, I get this dizziness, like I now need to go sit down and take a break from just cleaning. So once again, you're not lazy. You're not lazy. It's just our brains being squeezed. It causes neurological issues that other people may not deal with. So if you're super tired, if you're fatigued, if you're feeling dizzy, just take a break because the dishes can wait. Don't push yourself. Take breaks. If you have kids, delegate, find somebody to kind of help you out until you can kind of, regulate yourself or figure things out. Especially if you have kids, guess what? That stuff will be here tomorrow. Another thing is floaters. Forever and a day, I've always had floaters in my eye. And to me, it kind of reminds me of like amoeba shapes that you can see, I don't know, like if you were in water, like the little species that's in water or whatever, it's like you can see those in your eyes. And if that's happening to you, then you're not crazy. High heat tolerance. I know I definitely deal with that. Like I like it so hot in the shower. Sometimes I have to stop because it can get so hot to where now I can't breathe and I feel like I'm about to pass out, or just being able to stand really hot water. So if that's happening to you, you're not crazy. Bloating after eating, not even when it's lactose intolerance like myself, but just feeling that feeling of bloat, dealing with the issues with the stomach, when eating. And sometimes for me, like when I eat, my stomach will hurt up top, so I don't know. It could be just me having all this stuff going on, but if you're having it too, you're not crazy. Very emotional. For me, I think that's a part of it. I think I've always been emotional, and it could be because I'm female and I just can't help it. But I would say, like, if you have a child that has Chiari malformation, you'll probably have to be a little more sensitive to that, because, you know, the brain is being squeezed and there's a lot going on. You know, it can lead to anger, it can lead to emotional issues, you know, it can lead to anxiety and depression if you allow it to. It can lead to so much different things. So when you're dealing with someone who has Chiari, you know, there has to be a level of sensitivity, you know, especially if it's a kid, because they can't always articulate how they're feeling. So I would just advise everybody just to be a little more sensitive when you're around people who have Chiari, or maybe, you know, if you have Chiari, express that to the people, express that to the loved ones around you, that, you know, it's just something, it's in the brain. It's invisible, but it's happening. It's in the brain. I might have talked about this one in the last You're Not Crazy video, but restless leg syndrome. I've had that forever and a day. I just literally just kind of massage my legs. I also do get like pains in my leg that will go on for like days, like one spot of pain. So I do like a lot of massaging. You know, you can get one of those pillows that kind of go like this, where you can put your legs up. I had one of those at one point, but it was just so uncomfortable for me just to even lay with my legs on an incline, but it may work for you. And if you're dealing with that, you're not crazy. Nerve pain. For me, I've always had this sensational pain right here in my elbow. So if I'm driving, I set my elbow down, it hurts. It's like a pinched nerve. I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you, but there's a nerve here that just hurts. So I have to really be careful how I set my elbows on the table, or how I position my elbow when I'm driving on the center console. I also have this spot like on my right knee, like I can't even, like, say, like, you know, I don't have small kids, but if I'm on the floor, I have to be really careful on my knees, because there's a pain that's very similar to my elbow, and it's a very irritating pain that's like, it makes you get up off your knees. It makes you get up off your elbow. So, yeah, I think I've always had nerve issues. And initially, I thought it was because I had a C-section, because I had like on my right leg a spot where it was just completely numb, but then that came back, and then I had nerve sensitivity in my toes. So I think for me, Chiari Malformation symptoms, they come and go. Besides the headaches, which I don't really deal with anymore, but prior to decompression surgery, those things, especially after the car wreck, those things were there. But throughout my life, even before being diagnosed, things would come and go. And as I do more research, as I communicate with others, you can actually start kind of putting the puzzle pieces together as to what's been going on in the past. Like now, a realization that, okay, this all makes sense, because like I say, the symptoms vary from person to person, but Chiari has a lot of symptoms. Then if you have a syrinx on top of that, the symptoms are kind of parallel with Chiari, but that's just a lot of stuff to deal with. This may just be me, but prior to my decompression surgery, and definitely for a few years, I don't know, I've just, like, if ever I go to the bathroom to wash my hands, I have this desire to spit. I don't know. Even if I go to the kitchen, I don't spit in the kitchen sink, but for some reason when I'm around water, I don't know, it's weird, I just have a desire to spit. Like, it's just something in me that makes me want to spit. And I know some people do that. Some women do that, like when they're pregnant, and this isn't the case, but I don't know, for some reason it's just a desire to spit. And I don't think it really happens anymore since I had my surgery, now that I'm thinking about it. But before that, for some reason, I don't know, it's just always a desire to spit. And if that's happening to you, then you're not crazy. Another thing is dizziness when standing. I've had this, and like I say, it's been about 7 months since my decompression surgery, but there's still things I'm dealing with. Like I say, the tinnitus and the headaches are much better, but one of the things is dizziness when standing. So literally, it's almost like you cannot jump up really fast and stand up, because it will cause you to get dizzy. So I think like last week that happened to me, and so I literally had to just sit down. You know what I'm saying? Because getting up too fast, I don't know if it's the blood rushing or what, but I get dizzy when I'm standing up too fast. So if this happens to you, you're not crazy. I might have said this in the other video, not sure, but my back gets tired really easily. When I go to my kids' games, I always have to take me like a sports chair that you can just sit on the bleachers with my back. And then even at that point, I need to have my back up against the wall with the chair because my back is super restless and it hurts easily. And for me, it's much better just to hump over. But we know that's not good. As we get older, you can't just have your back humped over. But my back gets restless and tired and it hurts. So if it's happening to you, you're not crazy. I think I might have said this earlier, constant fatigue, feeling tired. You're not lazy. It's just, part of Chiari Malformation. Being diagnosed with anxiety. If you're having bouts of depression, it seems that Chiari, pain and all the other stuff, it causes your emotions to, be up and down, and with the sharp pains in the head, because I do remember at one point I was having these issues like sharp pains and a lot of different stuff going on, and the doctor said, okay, well, it's anxiety. And then I also did, and I'll do a video about this, I also did like a brain testing where they put this cap on my head that had a bunch of holes in it, and then they did something where in these holes, they scratched my scalp and I could feel it. And I don't know if the electrodes or what, but it was connected to this machine. And I had to look at this screen, and it was a bunch of different stuff going on. But anyway, so long story short, after I did the whole testing and stuff, it did say anxiety and like the inability to grasp things super fast and almost like a delayed response. So I'll do a video on that because it's kind of crazy. But hey, Chiari is Chiari. So if that's happened to you, you're not crazy. Memory issues. I always talk about that because that's something major for me. Short term, long term. Can't remember conversations I had with people. I'm not good with names. Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, but that's something I can't help. It's kind of saddening, makes you want to cry, but that's something I can't help as far as memory is concerned, because I can't go draw it out of a hat. At this point, I don't have it. I'll let you guys know in a year if it seems like all of a sudden I'm having childhood memories of things that I never even thought of, or I'm able to recollect conversations or little things, but I do have major issues with that. And if you do too, then you're not crazy. I think the last thing is, and like I said, I'm still dealing with whatever's going on with this throat, so whatever. The last thing is unable to think of simple words. I don't know if it was just major anxiety, Chiari flare-ups that was just consistent or what, but there was a serious time, which it still does happen to me now, but there was a time when I seriously could not even think of the words that I was trying to say. And then and also because that could be part of anxiety, because I've always been a shy person, and so I'm I don't want to say I'm not a people person, but I'm not a social butterfly. So when I get around people, it causes me to get a little anxious and trying to oftentimes have a conversation with people that I'm not comfortable with, like they're not family and friends. This nervousness comes on me, and I don't want to say social anxiety, but it's something like that, where if someone's talking to me, and if I'm trying to say, I'm trying to have a conversation and make a sentence, not only can I not think of the words, but for some reason, it's probably nervousness and Chiari combined, but when I'm trying to say the words, embarrassingly enough, it comes out as jibber jabber. And so there's nothing I can do about that at this point. Hopefully, with me having the decompression surgery, my brain has enough space to move around and the ability to function like it should. Hopefully I won't have to deal with that anymore, but years and years and years ago, there was a time when it got really bad. There was a lot of stuff going on, but it got really bad to where like I was unable to think. Just, I don't know, it got crazy, but thank God I'm here now, and I had my surgery and I'm feeling better. And to me, I'm just excited about new things. I started this YouTube channel to try to help other people, and that's getting great responses from people saying thank you so much for doing this, because it's really helping me out. Being raw and vulnerable, just to show a side of things. Because like I say, when I was researching, even before I decided to do the surgery, and I was on YouTube and trying to find things, there was not a lot. So I decided, okay, let me start a video. Sorry. And that's part of it too, because I may have talked about this in the other video, but I've always felt like there's a lump in the back of my throat. And I also do another video because I went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor where they put the camera down my nose into my throat and nothing was wrong. But for some reason, I've always felt this lump. So like when I swallow, it's like something's catching my food before it goes down. And I know all the research I've done with Chiari that, swallowing, gagging, needing to vomit is part of it. But I think maybe I have more stuff going on because mine is really bad. But I have like voice cracks. Sometimes I sound like a cartoon. It's crazy. And it's so funny because my kids used to laugh at me before I realized what this really was, with the voice cracks and feeling of the lump in the throat. And for me, I can't even bend over, because if I bend over for some reason, the gravity just makes everything worse. And I have to just sit there and calm down and just calm down and just try to breathe. But it causes, issues with my throat. So anyway, I just got off topic, but yeah, I think that's pretty much everything, because I can't remember what I was saying before I went on my tangent. But if I think of anything else, I'll make a part 4 to this. You're not crazy. So if you're exhibiting any of the symptoms that I just spoke about, please know you're not alone. You're not crazy. Okay, now I remember what I was saying. So yeah, I couldn't find a lot about people's experiences. So I decided to make this YouTube page right before Thanksgiving in 2024, just to kind of, show other people what's going on, and, just to kind of help other people who are considering going through the surgery, people who are dealing with Chiari Malformation and the syrinx, just to try to give some tips and to give a little hope, just so you guys know that you're not alone, and hopefully you have a support system, because that is needed, because there's nothing worse than going through the migraines and the pain and all that, just to turn around and feel lonely, because it does feel lonely. Even if you have family members who are empathetic, even if you have friends, sometimes when people can't see your invisible condition, if they don't really understand what you're going through. So it's good to have people around, even if it's long distance. It's good to have people to be able to connect to, who have actually gone through what you're going through, who have lived with Chiari, who have been through the surgery, all that type of stuff, because it can feel lonely, and you can get overwhelmed with everything that's going on, especially if you're doing a bunch of research and stuff. So anyway, I decided to make these videos because I'm a visual person, and for me, with my brain, for some reason, I need to be able to see what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. I did 6 years of college, and I'm like, I don't want to read another book. So reading for me, I struggle with reading, but I can watch some stuff. So I made these videos as a visual thing, just so people can better see about Chiari Malformation, syrinx, symptoms, and all that stuff. And, the process of being in the hospital, going through the surgery, the physical therapy, and just, things that I feel may help others, because I feel like we're all in this together. It's literally a team effort, in hopes that doctors become more aware of what's going on with Chiari. And like, that's what I always say, find you a doctor who is familiar with Chiari. If you don't have a specialist in your area, at least communicate with a neurosurgeon, not because you need surgery, but with a neurosurgeon that is familiar, that, you know, has dealt with people who have Chiari malformation, so that you're not going in circles, because it can be a lonely road. So it's just good to have people who you can connect with, you know, while you're trying to find ways to live a better life. So anyway, I know I'm rambling on, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, but I'll continue to come out with videos, because my desire is to just kind of help other people better cope. And like I said, you guys are always welcome to reach out in the comments, or if you want my email address, you know, I'm always reaching out to people. I'm making new forever friends, because we all got Chiari, so we might as well be friends, right? Anyway, I love you guys, and if you're in need of anything, if you have any questions, if there's any videos that you would like me to cover to help other people, let me know. I'm coming out with videos on the regular, so if you're interested, you can subscribe if you choose to. But other than that, it's gonna be okay. You're not alone. You got this. All right, I love you guys. Take care. Bye.